We're here at Lake Titicaca, Jimmy Church, here with Brian Forrester. Brian, this is an amazing place, a lot of mystery.
These are the floating islands of the Uros people, who were an indigenous people who originally came from the Amazon up here. And they established these floating islands as a way to uh, defend themselves from attack from other tribal people like the Aymara and later the Inca. So if you live on a floating island, you pay no taxes. And on average, one of these floating islands will last about 20 years, and then they have to build a new one. But what they do is once a month, excuse me, they'll add another layer of reeds on top. And yeah, so the lifespan's about 20 years. And a year before the island is about to die, they start building a new one. And then they cut the old island from its anchoring, and it floats out naturally into the deep part of the lake, which is to the south.
Now, they have not let go of their culture and their history here. And to see, well, not only the commitment, because it is about family and tradition, but it's pretty extraordinary to develop a life and a lifestyle on a floating island made of reeds. It's an entire culture, isn't it?
Yeah, the only other place I think is southern Iraq, where they have reed islands as well. But yeah, they've been here for probably at least 1,000 years, so it's 50 generations minimum.
Now, there's the other side of Titicaca, the mystery. There's it seems to me to be some I'm just going to say it, Egyptian connection. When you look at the reed boats and the way that they're painted and the colors and the look, I feel like I'm back on the Nile River over in Cairo somewhere. And then we have lights in the sky and craft coming in and out of the deep end of the lake. Uh, what's up with all of that? Is there something to it?
I don't think there's necessarily a cultural connection, but you're right. The ancient Egyptians also made boats out of reeds, and this is one of the world hotspots in terms of UFO activity, mainly in the deep part of the lake, which is 900 feet deep to the south. The average sighting they see are 20-foot in diameter disc-shaped UFOs that come in and out of the lake quite frequently, and then also orbs and lights at night that are very mysterious. So
And the orbs and lights, this goes back thousands of years. This is uh, an oral tradition here that's part of the mystery of Lake Titicaca, isn't it?
oh, definitely.
Now, what about the reports? The lake has changed its depth and its size over the years. It's gotten very big. It is where it is now. But then we have the reports, the fantastic reports of pillars and structures under the water, possible cave system and temples. Have you seen any evidence of this?
Yeah, the very southern part of the lake, it gets very shallow, and it's almost like a sub lake from the big lake, and it's called the City of Forever. And there we went out in a boat, very shallow, maybe 20 feet deep, and we saw the foundations of buildings there. So it is quite possible that there are structures, not in the deep part of the lake, but in the very southern part, in the shallow area. There could be underground buildings that still exist because this lake is very dynamic. And especially 13,000 plus years ago, it was 10 times the size it is now. And what happened was there was a tectonic activity of some kind causing the northern part of the lake to tip up, southern part to tip down. 90% of the lake drained to what is now called the salt flats. And if you actually drive south beyond Lake Titicaca, you can still see the original water line carved into the side of the mountains, about 100 feet high.
Now, the connection at the southern tip, of course, we have Tiwanaku, we have Pumapunku, and the reports and the investigations there pointing back to possibly 15,000 years and older, certainly for Pumapunku. The alignments, the celestial alignments there of of the different gates and doorways. And then Titicaca back then would have brushed right up against it, right?
Yeah, especially at Pumapunku. You go to the north side of Pumapunku, there's a megalithic staircase that goes down to what is now a field. But 13,000 years ago, with the lake level 100 feet higher, that would have been where the lake met Pumapunku.
Incredible, incredible. I'm Jimmy Church. You can come and see all of this amazing history and culture for yourself. Just go to hiddenincatours.com. Brian has got 2 tours coming up next year. Brian, one in June,
And one in November,
one in June. The June is the summer solstice. That's amazing.
actually winter solstice.
Winter solstice. In the northern hemisphere is at the opposite.
Right,
Yeah. And so I'm still adjusting. And then in November, a full tour of the country and Bolivia.
exactly.
It's going to be incredible. Come and visit and hang out with all of us, Brian Forster and his team. Totally first class, and just learn for yourself the amazing history that is Peru and Bolivia. I'm Jimmy Church. Just go to hiddenincatours.com. Brian, a quick yo.
Yo, and thank you very much for watching.